So I turned 33 today, and instead of celebrating with cakes and party hats, I figured I'd just sit down with you guys and just share something with you that might be more valuable than any birthday gift I could receive or give. You see, over the past 33 years, I've learned 33 brutal lessons, and I mean brutal. These aren't the kind of lessons you'll learn from videos or books or motivational content. These are the lessons that break you down, humble you completely, and either destroy you or forge you into something stronger. I'm going to share all 33 with you today because if you're a man who feels lost or behind, or you just feel like you're running out of time, then some of these might sting. But they might also save you years, maybe even decades of unnecessary pain. So grab a coffee or a cigar or a whiskey. Settle in because this is going to be raw. It's going to be honest. And it might just be the conversation that changes the trajectory of your life completely. Let's start from the top. Lesson 33. Fairy tales will absolutely destroy you as a man. I grew up believing in Disney love stories. That's right. Happily ever afters, fairy tale endings, all that stuff. I thought that if you just love someone enough, everything would magically work out. That belief nearly cost me everything. Because reality doesn't give a damn about your fairy tales. The sooner you accept that life is complex, the sooner that you accept that life is messy and requires actual work, the sooner you can start building something real. Lesson 32. Being the nice guy is actually the most selfish thing you can do. When I was 13, I was drawing pictures, making origami flowers for my crush because I thought I was being romantic. But really, I was being a coward. I was too scared to be direct, too terrified of rejection. So I hid behind these nice gestures. That's not romance. That's manipulation disguised as kindness. Lesson 31. If you're too shy to ask her out yourself, you're not ready for a relationship. I literally had her friend ask for me. Think about that for a second. I couldn't even speak for myself. How was I supposed to lead a relationship? A man who can't advocate for himself can't protect or provide for anyone else. Lesson 30. Models aren't trophies. They're human beings with their own needs and desires. I became obsessed with dating models because I thought they'd prove my worth to the world. That's not attraction. That's ego validation. And women can smell that desperation from miles away. They want to be chosen for who they are, not what they represent, your insecurities. Lesson 29. You cannot maintain what you didn't earn. I got the model girlfriend and I thought I was done. Game over, mission accomplished. So I stopped growing. I stopped trying. I stopped being the man she was attracted to in the first place. Guess what happened? She left. You don't get to coast on past victories. The man she fell for has to be the man she wakes up with every day. Lesson 28. Being cheated on twice isn't bad luck, it's a pattern. First time it happened, I blamed her. Second time it happened, I blamed her too. But by the third relationship, I had to look in the mirror and just ask the hard question. What's the common denominator here? It wasn't them, it was me. I wasn't being the kind of man that a woman would feel guilty about betraying. Lesson 27. Rock bottom is a foundation, not a destination. When that second model cheated on me, I wanted to disappear from the world. I was crying in my bed. My parents could hear me through the walls. But sometimes you need to lose everything to find yourself. Rock bottom became the solid ground I built my comeback on. Lesson 26. Becoming single is the single best investment you'll ever make in yourself. I spent years jumping from relationship to relationship, thinking I needed someone else to complete me. Going solo was terrifying. It was also when I actually became a man, because you can't find yourself while you're busy trying to keep someone else happy. Lesson 25. Your environment shapes you more than your willpower ever will. I moved from my parents' house to a high-rise apartment in the city with my business partners. Everything changed overnight. If you want to transform your life, Start by transforming where you spend your time and who you spend it with. If you're resonating with any of this so far, drop a fire emoji in the comments because we're just getting started and the next section is where things get really interesting. Lesson 24. A Mercedes doesn't make you a man, but upgrading your standards will. I sold my Skyline and bought a Mercedes. It wasn't about the car itself, it was about refusing to settle for good enough. Sometimes material upgrades reflect internal ones. When you start demanding better from yourself, you start demanding better from everything around you. Lesson 23. The Game by Neil Strauss will change your life, but not in the way you think. I discovered pickup artistry and thought it was about getting women. Really, it taught me confidence, social dynamics, and how to take risks in the face of rejection. The skills I learned approaching strangers in bars helped me approach investors, potential clients, and opportunities that scared me. Use every tool for growth, not just the obvious application. Lesson 22. Approaching strangers builds way more than just your dating life. I used to go out solo to bars and clubs, approaching random women. Sounds shallow, right? But it taught me a very valuable lesson: to read social cues, handle rejection without taking it personally, and trust myself in uncertain situations. Those skills apply to every area of life where you need confidence. Lesson 21. Business networking puts you in rooms you can never buy your way into. Through entrepreneurship, I ended up meeting millionaires and even a billionaire. Not because I was rich, but because I was hungry and willing to provide value. Stop networking sideways with people at your level. Network up with people who are where you want to be. Lesson 20. Everything comes together when you work on everything together. Health, business, dating, confidence, they're not separate categories. They're all connected. When I started improving my fitness, my business confidence grew. When my business grew, my dating life improved. Holistic growth isn't just a nice to have, it's how real transformation starts. Lesson 19. What you think is your prime is usually just preparation for what's actually coming. I was living what I thought was my best life, clubbing every weekend, dating multiple women, business growing. I thought that was just peak. Really, it was just a training camp for bigger challenges and bigger opportunities. Lesson 18. Traditional love will break down your walls, and that can be dangerous if you're not ready. I met a girl who loved me unconditionally, who saw the best in me when I couldn't see it in myself. That felt incredible, but it also made me soft. Real love should challenge you to grow, not enable you to shrink into a smaller version of yourself. Lesson 17. The love that feels safest is often the most destructive to your growth. She was showering me with kindness and acceptance. I stopped pushing myself because why would I? Everything was comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of greatness. Be very careful about who makes your life too easy. Lesson 16. You don't get to stop being the man she fell in love with. She fell for the ambitious, driven, constantly improving version of me. And then I got comfortable and became lazy, complacent, stopped working on myself. And then I wondered why she started losing attraction. You can't bait and switch someone and expect them to stick around. This next section might be harder to digest, but it's where the real lessons are. Failure teaches you everything. Lesson 15. Consistency beats intensity every single time. I had these big dreams and I'd work on them in intense bursts, burn myself out, get frustrated and quit. Then I'd try again with the same pattern. I did this for 6 years. The tortoise wins the race because he never stops moving. Lesson 14. Chasing shiny objects is just fear disguised as ambition. Crypto trading, copywriting, digital marketing, dropshipping, network marketing. I tried it all. I told myself I was exploring options, but really I was just running from commitment. I was afraid to pick one thing and fail at it. So I failed at everything. Pick one and master it. Lesson 13. When you stop leading, she starts leaving. I let her organise our dates, plan our holidays, and make all the decisions. I thought I was being considerate and sharing responsibility. Really, I was just becoming lazy and abandoning my role. Women need partners who can lead, not passengers along for the ride. Lesson 12. You become what you consistently do, not what you occasionally dream about. I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I acted like an employee. I wanted to be fit, but trained sporadically. I wanted to be successful, but I did the bare minimum. Your actions reveal your real priorities. not your words, not your intentions. Lesson 11. Leaning on someone else's accountability means you have none of your own. She tried to keep me on track with my goals, asked about my progress, supported my dreams. I let her become my external conscience. But when she'd ask how my training was going or how my business was progressing, I had nothing to show for it. That's when I realized I'd given away my power as a man. Lesson 10. Becoming numb is your soul's way of protecting itself from repeated disappointment. I couldn't answer for my failures anymore. I couldn't explain why I kept starting and stopping. I kept making promises to myself I couldn't keep. So I just shut down emotionally, became a zombie, going through the motions. Sometimes numbness isn't depression, it's your mind's defense mechanism. Lesson 9. Mutual breakups are usually just one person being kind enough to save the other person's dignity. We decided together that it was best to separate. Really, she was just giving me a graceful exit from a situation where I'd already checked out. When someone you love lets you go gently instead of forcing a dramatic confrontation, they're showing you mercy. Lesson 8. Societal timelines are suggestions, not requirements. Everyone around me was getting engaged, having kids, buying houses, climbing the corporate ladder. I felt like I was falling behind, like I was failing at life because I wasn't hitting these traditional milestones. But my path was different, and comparison became the thief of my purpose. But here's the thing about rock bottom. It gives you a solid foundation to build on, and that's where the real transformation begins. Lesson 7. The entrepreneur path is harder than anyone tells you, and that's exactly why it's worth it. I watch friends who become tradies start successful businesses while I struggled to make $1 online. I thought I was taking the smart route, the easy route. But sometimes what looks like the easy path is actually the hardest. The difficulty is what creates the value. Lesson 6. Feeling like a failure is just feedback, not a final verdict. I spent years feeling worthless, like I was broken or cursed. Really, I was just measuring success wrong and refusing to learn from my own mistakes. Failure isn't falling down, it's staying down when you have the ability to get back up. Lesson 5. Shortcuts are always the longest route to anywhere meaningful. I tried every get-rich-quick scheme, every hack, every secret formula. Wasted years chasing the easy button that doesn't exist. The fastest way to success is the direct way. Choose your path and put in the consistent work. Lesson 4. Space to find yourself is the greatest gift you can give to everyone in your life. Moving out and living alone was terrifying. I had to face myself without distractions, without someone else to blame or lean on. Best decision I ever made. You can't discover who you really are while you are busy trying to be someone else needs you to be. Lesson 3. Physical transformation unlocks mental transformation in ways you can't imagine. I went from being 110 kilos down to 80 kilos. I started running marathons, ultra marathons, high rocks events, and I started taking up boxing again. Your body teaches your mind what's possible. Every physical limit you break shows that mental limits are usually illusions. Lesson 2. Your comeback is always bigger than your setback. If you use the setback as fuel, then that'll project you into every area of life. I lost everything. The relationship, my confidence, my direction, my sense of identity. But the man who came back from that was stronger, wiser, and more authentic than the one who fell. Adversity doesn't just build character, it reveals it. Lesson 1. Your voice is your gift to the world, and hiding it is robbing people who need to hear your story. I spent years trying to make money behind the scenes, avoiding the spotlight, trying to succeed without being seen. I think God allowed me to fail at everything else so I'd finally step forward and use my voice. Your story isn't just yours. It belongs to everyone that you can help with. So here's where I am today, on my 33rd birthday. And I'm going to be completely honest with you because that's what this whole video has been about. Got about a month left worth of savings. It's been 9 months since my last traditional job. And I'm betting everything on this coaching business and my personal brand. That hasn't landed my first client yet. My back is literally against the wall. And for the first time in my life, I'm not scared. Because every single thing that broke me down was preparing me for this exact moment. Every failure taught me what success actually costs. Every loss showed me what really matters. Every humiliation built the humility I needed to serve others. I'm not the same man who got cheated on twice because he didn't know his worth. I'm not the guy who let himself go in relationships because comfort felt better than growth. I'm not the entrepreneur who chased shortcuts because the real work felt too hard. I'm a man who learned 33 lessons the hard way so that maybe, just maybe, you don't have to. So look, if you're 25 and you're feeling lost, that's perfect. Use that confusion as your fuel. If you're 30 and you feel behind, excellent. You have enough experience to know what doesn't work. If you're 35 and starting over, that's ideal. You now have wisdom that your younger self could never possess. Your age isn't a limitation, it's information. Every year that you've lived, every mistake, every lesson that you've learned has been preparing you for who you are meant to be. The question isn't whether you're too old or too late or too far behind. The question is, what are you going to do with the lessons you've already learned? Today I turn 33. Tomorrow I start year 1 of the man I was always meant to be. What year are you ready to start? If this conversation hit you and you're ready to stop learning these lessons the hard way, if you want to compress years of trial and error into months of focused growth, I want to talk to you. There's a link in the description to book a call with me. Now you've got two choices. You can spend the next decade learning these lessons through pain, heartbreak, and rock bottom moments like I did, or you can learn from my mistakes, apply my hard-won wisdom, and compress that timeline dramatically. But either way, stop waiting for permission to become the man you're meant to be. Drop a comment below and tell me which lesson hit you the hardest. I read every single comment, and your story might be exactly what another man needs to hear today. Happy birthday to me, and happy new beginning to you.